Anta, babacar, Ngom, why do you want to be president of Senegal?
Because I love my country. Because my country has offered me and given me so much. And I think that investing myself into politics is going to be an opportunity for us to give back. I'm a young Senegalese woman, mother. I was raised and born in the suburbs of Dakar. I've been through a lot in this country. I know its worst and I know its best. I've worked here for all my life, for over 15 years. I've been the CEO of big companies, agricultural companies in the agribusiness sector. I've seen what it is to be a Senegalese citizen here, and I really want to give back. I've also seen what the political scene is in my country, and it does not make me proud. And I believe we should and we must bring change, and I'm part of that change. As a young person, as a woman, but mostly as somebody who's never done politics before. So we must take a stand, and that's why we're in now.
You travel across the country and you meet a lot of people. What did they tell you? What do they want exactly from the president to be?
We've traveled throughout the 14 regions of Senegal, the 45 departments. We've been places where politics usually do not go, places where they actually don't welcome people. What we've seen is deep poverty. What we've seen is pain. What we've seen is people who've been totally forgotten and lost and left by themselves. So we've listened to them because we've developed a program in this campaign called Dig Dug. Dig Dug means listening to the truth, not just listening.
In Wolof,
in Wolof.
In the main language.
In my national language, in Wolof. It means listening to the people, but not just listening. We want to hear the hardcore truth. Usually politicians do not want to hear that. So we went digging deep for that, and we got the results. We were quite angry and upset when we came back, and it has only proven our point that we must take things into our hand and get to work, because we did not work so far. So that journey was quite hard. They didn't make it easy for us. We were attacked by the police forces in my country at 2 times in 2 different regions, in Kolda and in Podor, just because they believed that we should not get in touch or in contact with the Senegalese
exactly.
people.
Why did they attack you? What were the reasons behind?
You know, when I was facing the policeman, that's exactly the question I asked him. I said, why? What have we done wrong? Have we attacked somebody? Have we insulted somebody? We were looking for sponsorship because in my country, before you get the opportunity to take part into the elections, you need to have sponsors. You must have sponsors. Minimum of 44,000 people, Senegalese people, who actually sponsor you, saying that, okay, they think that you should at least be a candidate. To get that, if you want to get it from the people, you must go towards them. Is it a fault if the Senegalese people, the young, the mothers, they come out when they see me? Should I be blamed for that? That's what happened. So it's an opportunity to talk about it and hoping that we will bring democracy back into our country and our continent globally.
You are a businesswoman with no...
I was.
with no non-political experience, and now your companies employs thousands of people, but managing businesses and running a country of millions of people are quite 2 different things. You don't have the political experience, Anta, babacar, Ngom.
I'm glad I don't have that political experience. People think it's the bad thing, the downside of my profile. I think that's the good side of my profile. I think I'm lucky to have never been involved into what has brought my country and this continent to exactly where it is. This level of poverty, this level of pain has been caused by this politics. So I'm lucky I'm not part of it. I think it's a plus. I think that's why the Senegalese people will actually choose me. And of course, I'm coming from the private sector, and well aware that the private sector is not a government. But I can tell you that it helps. Because in the private sector, you actually know how to manage. You manage finances. You manage with the people. You build with the people. You follow processes and procedures. There are rules that you actually follow. You answer to a board member's meeting. You answer to, regardless of you being the CEO, you're still an employee, you answer to a board member. That does not happen in my administration, not in Senegal. We see corruption. We see people that are supposed to work for the government who are today billionaires, taking the people's money into their pocket like it's their own. When that happens in the private sector, you get punished. When that happens in the government, it does not show. So Senegalese people suffer from that. And I think that my experience as a businesswoman is actually a big plus, and it's helping me build and grow into the political scene. And it makes my profile different.
But politics also has its code. If you don't get a code, how would you manage?
What's
how
the
would
code?
you run a country if you don't know the codes?
What's the code? Can you tell me what the code is?
I'm asking you, you're the candidate.
You're telling me about a code. I don't see a code. You know what I see? People requesting and demanding change. We cannot say that that change can only happen from a few people who've been in the political scene. That is changing around the globe, mostly in Africa. Look at what's happening in the African countries. It's awareness, mind-opening, that we must have get that change from the people. If you don't have it, you see what happened in the other countries around Senegal. We are very lucky that we still have a country and we still have democracy. So it cannot come from these politics. That change will come from the citizens like myself. So there is no code. That's something that was built to make us believe that politics should be done by a certain type of people or a certain profile. I don't believe in that. In this day of age, I think you should do politics. I am doing politics. That young woman in her house holding her baby should get into politics. We have to do politics because the country is ours.
After your sponsorship was validated by the institution in Senegal, some people said you the candidate of the power, because you there, according to them, I'm just quoting, just to grab some vote or some vote from young people and from female for the ruling party. What do you respond to that? What is your answer?
You mean to say that they're saying that I'm a candidate of the actual president, Macky Sall? That's the question. Well, the answer is very clear. No. I am no Macky Sall's candidate. I am no candidate of the actual government. I actually want them to step down. You see, this saying that you're talking about has been built and created by a certain group of people whose only purpose is to destroy, is to create illusions, is to actually play with people's mind. They've never listened to me probably, because from the beginning, I talk about what? A breakdown of this system. I am one of those that said no to a third mandate of the President Macky Sall. And when he chose a candidate, I actually made a video to say no to that, because you don't get to choose for me. I want them to go. That system must go away so that we build a new system and the right one. So I'm from the opposition, but as well, I'm not part of that opposition creating and calling up for violence. No, I'm a third voice. I'm the voice of the unspoken ones. We are an alternative. We are against any types of political bipolarization. We actually don't like this politics, power, or a certain opposition. We have our own way, and that's why we're called ARC, an alternative for the rebirth and the renew of the new citizens. So, no. I am an opponent.
You are going to be one of the youngest candidates to run for presidency, and also your profile as a woman. And we noticed over the years, Senegal is one of the African countries that done put in place some laws to improve the representation of women in political areas, but it doesn't follow as promised. What do you think is that?
Yes, I'm the youngest presidential candidate that my country has had, and I'm the first woman that actually passed the stage of sponsorship, as I was telling you. Yes, there's been laws, but what's a law if it's not applied? That's what happened in Senegal. Everything is written. Everything is signed for. But when you go on the ground, it's not what we find. Because it's still a man's world. It's done and run by the man, decided by the man, and supposed to be applied by the man. It has not been done that way. But it's changing, Anta. Women like me, we are in Senegal. Just that people did not know that we are here. But Senegalese women are strong. Senegalese women are powerful. Senegalese women are ambitious. And we're about to make that change. You know, when you get in the field, even when you go in the agricultural land, you don't see men. You see women. When you go in the companies, women are now leading and managing the biggest companies in my country. You go in the administration, you find lots of women. But they're hidden. Like politics. They say it's a man's world. But my profile and my candidacy is about to change those things. And I believe it's going to happen in 2024. We will take the place that we must take into. Because only a woman can build a country where women will have their spot, their rightful place, but men also will have their rightful place.
But what is the things that are necessary to do to get deep into the causes of this problem? Because if you talk to people, it seems like there's no issue having a female head of state. But when it comes to cast the vote, people don't cast their vote. I mean, in Senegal, also in general in Africa, people don't cast their vote for female. What do you think can be done to improve or to change the situation, Anta Ngom?
I think, as you said, we have not voted for women before, and even for young candidates in the past. There are many reasons, because first of all, a woman has never been to this level in a political campaign. So it's very early to decide whether the Senegalese, or to think that the Senegalese people will probably not. Because I've been around, we've done surveys, and the first question is whether Senegalese people are actually ready to have a woman as a president. And those answers...
Do you think they are?
Oh, they are very revealing. They are very revealing. Of course, there are still some some men who think that it still have to be a man's world. But no, men themselves have said that this country must be led by women because it has reached a level of violence. It has reached a level of injustice. It has reached a level of poverty. And we believe that the woman that I am can actually bring the change. And you know what? We want to change everything. We want to change the men. We want to change the oldest people, the elderly people that we've seen in the political scene since the beginning by the young people. We want to change the politicians, replace them by the non-politicians. So that change will happen in the three sectors. And being a woman is not a bad thing in this case. I think it's a plus. And there are more women in Senegal than men. So we just need to join forces.
There are more women, but also there are more young people in Senegal. And some of them, they feel like they've been left behind in terms of programs. And if you look at the news recently, most of the migrants in the desert or the oceans, most of them, they're from Senegal.
Yes.
Why do you think all those people just want to leave that country you call yourself Teranga, which means the land of hospitality?
It's a shame. It's a shame because I love my country, and our country has always had a very nice and bright image around the world. So if today it's associated to that, to our youth taking boats and ready to die because they don't find themselves, they don't see themselves into different programs in this country. It's a very bad look on our politics. It's a very bad look on everybody. But I do understand why they're leaving. And if we don't change things, all the Senegalese people will leave.
And why are they leaving, according to you?
Because they don't have jobs. Because they don't have the means to actually work in order to feed themselves and feed their families. They live in a world where if they stay in Senegal, they can only resume to crimes, they can only resume to violence, they can only resume to walk around the streets of Dakar. You see them working out all day. Why are they working out so much? Because they don't have jobs. So, and that's the first responsibility of a government. But you know why the government has failed to do it? It's because we did not choose workers to run the country. An industrial captain like myself. That's where we make the difference. I've created thousands and thousands of jobs. That's what I do. I'm in from the agricultural sector. That's what we do. I'm an industrial. You give me the country, the first thing is I'm going to industrialize. That's where Senegal is right now. Transform ourselves, our goods into products that we can consume, but that we can also export. My country has the means to do it, but we have not done it so far. We export our raw materials. Why is that? Meanwhile, we have the people. We have the youth, they're here. We have the brains because we're smart. We have the knowledge because we're well educated. But our politics did not put in place the policies that will allow us to actually work and transform the land. It's frustrating. So what else do? They're ready to die. It's sad. So I think if we don't change things, we'll have the worst surprise ever for my country. So people like me must get into politics and do what they can do.
Do you think more young people like yourself have to get involved more in politics in terms of presidential candidate, or at the grassroots of any election in the country, especially in Senegal, but as a whole also in Africa?
Yes, I think more young people should get into politics. The more the merrier. If I could have 10 young candidates in this political campaign, it would be a blessing. Because that's how we change things. Certain stereotypes that we have in this country, such as politics must be led to the people who have political experience. Those barriers would be crossed if we had more young people getting involved. It's a sense of being proud of your country, loving your country, and the sense of giving back. Even in your small community, there are many ways to do politics. When you're cleaning the streets in front of your house, organizing yourself into different associations and impacting your community, that's the type of politics that I believe in. That's what I did before I actually engaged into this presidential candidacy. So I believe and I hope that more young people will actually get their hands into it. This country is a young country. It's 75% of this population is under 25 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be led by a young person.
Why do you think you've been attacked? Because getting just involved in politics, what do you think you've been attacked by those people?
I'm being attacked because I probably disturb a lot of people and tranquility and peace.
Who do you think?
The actual government, who probably at the beginning did not think that I could get to where I am today. So it's a disturbance to have somebody who's not a politician to come and open the eyes of the citizens and tell them this is not it. It's a closed world that they actually try to have. A world where they actually change costumes, but it's still the same people. Since 1960, it's still the same people. They just change their vest and dominate somebody else, but it's still the same system. And that's what I tell my people. I say no to all of that since 1960. So when you come with a language like that, when that's your approach, when you tell the truth, which is pretty rare in politics, but when you tell the truth and you shed light to what they've done, yes, you disturb. And of course, when you're so young and you're a woman, they must wonder where you come from. I bring hope, which we do not have in this country. I trust in the essential value of work, which they have not done. And that's why we are in pain. That's why we are so upset. They live from on the back of the people, from corruption, from injustice. So when that happens and somebody like me coming out of nowhere, like they say, yes, of course I'm not welcome, but I did not expect this journey to be easy. And I actually do not want them to make it easy, because what we want is extraordinary. I want to be the 5th president of this Republic of Senegal, and I don't expect to get it easy. So we will fight, but I'm pretty sure that the Senegalese people are actually listening. They actually want the change that we're bringing, and we can make it happen. It has proven it. This sponsorship has said a lot. They're all surprised. How did we do it? We did it by working. We did it because we were on the ground. We did it because we were close to the people. And that's how we will win. And they might be as surprised, so they should get ready.
You describe yourself as the candidate of the change. What will be your priorities when elected president of Senegal?
One of my first priorities when elected president of this country is the people. I want to bring change to the people first. Their basic needs of living and conditions, such as health, education, what allows them, before even getting jobs, they should be able to survive, working around their values, and reminding everybody that an administration must be working for the people. It's not the opposite. It's not the people working for an administration and fighting against corruption. Because I know if people are so angry, as I said, it's because of the corruption. So I will have zero tolerance to those corrupted people. So help the people believe again in themselves, love again themselves and their country, get these young people to believe that they should stay in Senegal and work together. I will put the country back to work. I will put my country back to work and prove that great results come from working, not from corruption or easy ways to do it. So that's how we bring change.
Anta, babacar, Ngom, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you very much, Anta. But before we go, I really want to take this opportunity to address a message to the Senegalese people who are outside of Senegalese in the diaspora, of Senegal in the diaspora. I've lived abroad for many years, lived in France, lived in Canada. I do understand why they're still out there and not coming to Senegal, because the economical and political and even social environment in Senegal is not welcoming for a return back home. That's the change also that I'm going to bring, because the Senegalese outside of Senegal, they have the experience, they have the knowledge, they're strong, they've done extraordinary things outside. And we are so proud when we travel the world. We go into industries, we go into government, we go into banks, and we meet amazing people and come to find out that they're Senegalese. And I wonder, why are they not back into Senegal and building and constructing with us this country? That will be one of my biggest objectives, is to make sure that the environment is ready to welcome them to come back home. So my message is to ask them to even engage themselves politically, to take part of the change that's happening in our country. So that's my last word. Thank you for having me and allowing me to spread the word to the Senegalese people in Senegal, outside of Senegal, and to all the citizens of the world. Thank you, Anta.
Thank you so much.